We are going to do a demo of how to use the compact data science platform for a marketing business case, churn prediction. Once you've signed up or logged into your account, you will see this screen where you can choose your industry, which in this case is marketing, and your business case, churn prediction. You then click on Start, and this will take you to the page where you can import your data. There are a few simple but important instructions to import the data. You can download an example dataset by clicking here. This is actually the one that I'm going to use for today's demo. Here is what it looks like. This is a dataset from a telecom company. Each row represents a customer. There is information about the customer and about their contracted products. The last column is the important one. It represents the churn and is binary. 1 means that they have canceled their subscription, so they are no longer a customer. As mentioned here, the data does not need to be clean. It can contain missing values. You don't need to remove some columns like the customer ID, for example. All this data cleaning and processing will be handled by our algorithms. You can click on Import Data and choose the file to import. This will take a few seconds. And then you click on Launch Analysis. As written here, you will receive your report in your email. It could take a few minutes. I've already received it here. To see your report, you can click on the first link here. This opens a new tab that contains a personalized report for this business case and your data. The first graph that we see on the left side shows us the most important variables for identifying churn. This means that, from all the variables on our dataset, the machine learning algorithms find which are the ones that have the most impact on customer churn. We can see each of these variables' correlation with the churn rate. In our case, the most important variable is the type of contract, when it is month to month. The correlation is positive, so this means that, when the type of contract is month to month, the probability of churn is much higher. If you hover over the bar, you can see that the correlation is 40%. We see other variables that have a positive correlation with the churn rate. For example, when online security is no, that is when the customer has no online security contracted. It is also highly correlated with a high churn. We can go ahead to the table on the top right side. This table gives us the top recommendations by our machine learning algorithms to detect customers with a high risk of churn. We can see in the first row that, for our whole dataset, the churn rate is 26%. Our algorithm finds subsets of customers with a way higher churn. The first recommendation that it gives us to find those risky customers is to focus on those with a type of contract that is month to month. In this group, the churn rate is as high as 42%. Recommendation number 2 to find high-risk customer is to focus on those with an internet service that is fiber optic. In this group, the churn rate is as high as 41%. The next thing that we can do is visualize the variables from the recommendations. So let's start with the variable from the recommendation number 1, which is contract. The red dots represent customers who canceled their subscription. The gray dots instead represent customers who are still customers. We can clearly see that for the month-to-month type of contract, there is a lot of red. Instead, for the 2-year contract type, there are very few red dots, so way less churn for this type of contract. We can now click on the bar chart to see a different perspective of the same information. If we hover over the area with the mouse, we can see that the churn rate for the month-to-month contract type is 42%. This is the same thing that we had in the table. Let's visualize another variable, the internet service type. We clearly see that for the customers with a fiber optic service, the risk of churn is higher, it is 41%. So with all those pieces of information, now the telecom company can take pertinent actions to reduce the churn rate. For example, since they know that the month-to-month contract is very risky, they can rather propose other contract types. They've also learned that the fiber optic product is riskier, so they can take some proactive actions with those customers to avoid losing them. Or they can investigate why this product is risky.